Anybody do anything fun? Go out of town or?
Circle Jerks, don't take that too literally, these are band names. Circle Jerks, Adolescents, Descendants.
Where was that at? Here in Tucson?
No. 2 hours away someplace.
Oh yeah?
Ah, qué padre. ¿Vas a ver las niñas?
I don't remember what the town's called.
Yeah?
A todos, pues vas a ver las niñas, a todos.
That's fun.
Marana?
Marina? Yeah.
Then it wasn't Marana.
Wouldn't be 2 hours, but.
It was almost Phoenix.
Oh yeah? Probably, what is that town up there? It's like close to Phoenix. It's like, it's in the desert though. It's like, I can't think of it anymore. I went there to buy something one time on an auction. How about you guys? You do anything exciting?
Phoenix.
You went to Phoenix?
Yeah, my buddy, we were in Denver, so, yeah, we moved to Phoenix actually,
Oh my God. Oh, that's cool. Fernanda, anything fun?
I got sick again, and I was looking for a job.
Oh man, bummer. You got sick? Did you find a job?
I got an interview yesterday. So
Good. Good for you. You don't want to coach, do you?
I feel like I'd be a terrible coach.
It's probably too late anyway now because the season's like 3 weeks from being done. So, and we still never got Tim in, and then there's somebody else that we're trying to hire, and they're just dragging their feet. Hey, Nicholas.
I'm feeling like I had my power shut off for a day also in spring break.
Oh, they think I moved to Denver. Yeah, like that.
Okay, let's log everybody in.
And actually, a new update. So Miss Water, she changed the story code project we do this Sunday night. Actually, yeah. So I was gonna actually ask you for a favor. If you might help me out. Like, so you know how I'm like become Thursday. I was thinking that if you're not busy on Thursday or whatever, it's like maybe during I think Thursday all you guys are doing is do more historical project. But you know how, but you wake up what? You wake up audience. You don't need me. I was thinking maybe in class.
Everything
Like, you know
okay?
those questions we have there. Could you like tackle those, like, your answers, like,
I did not finish the get to the hot dogs thing. When I was looking at the instructions, I didn't see any reference to it. And I was wondering why that was even there. I was like, did I make that up? Oh.
This time, yeah, she really good, like, this
Merge over.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, if you do that,
No, that's the function of it.
I think the function you didn't make the show results.
thank you, yeah.
Okay.
You definitely.
All right, guys, let's get started.
Maybe there are 3.
I can work with it.
Show results, get total hot dogs.
Hey, Rachel.
Yeah, that's
I only have 1 and 3.
Yes, haircut. Thank you.
Probably your main problem.
Yeah.
So, guys, welcome back. Here's what's due tonight. You got to do exercise 4.3, 4.4, 4.5 in the online book. Okay, so does everybody know how to find that now? It's under exercises. Should I show you guys, or is there anybody that doesn't know how to get to the exercises in the online book? So these are pretty easy. You can just type them up in a PDF or a Word document. They're not that hard. It's like 3 little questions. The other class, I'm teaching this also as an online class, and their stuff was due yesterday. So like everybody got it right almost. So it's not that hard. I don't know if the answers are somewhere. Maybe they are in the book, but I don't know. It's almost like somebody had the answers because everybody got it right. So these ones aren't that difficult. The hot dog cookout lab, I don't know if you can remember back more than a week ago, but I showed you how to convert pseudocode into Python code, and that's what you have to do with this cookout lab. So do we need to review that a little bit, or? Yes, please. Review it a little bit? Okay. We're able to? Okay, all right, we can do that. And then the module 6 interactive review slides, these are pretty easy. That's due tonight. The quiz, I was looking at it, and I changed it to be due Thursday night instead of tonight. It's like 25 questions, And we haven't really covered it yet, a lot of the stuff. We're gonna cover it today and Thursday. So I moved it back a day for you guys, okay? And I looked at the other class, and they had it due yesterday. And almost everybody got the quiz right, like, they got all 25 points, so. It's all open book and you get 2 tries, but I just thought I'd give you guys a break and have it due in 2 more days, okay? So, let's see, what should we start out first? Let's do the poll questions first, and then we'll get in, and we'll look at the hot dog cookout lab, okay?
Wait,
All right, so these are right from Module 6 quiz.
that looks correct, that's the way.
And of course, every single quiz question is which of the following is false.
Yeah.
So these quizzes are getting a little bit more difficult.
No,
Um,
I have to screenshot.
So when you change a function's code, all calls to the function execute the updated version.
It doesn't, yeah,
Tony, you're talking a little too loud. When you change a function's code, all the calls to the functions execute the updated version. That sounds true, right?
Yeah.
You guys write a function, and you make a change to it, then every time you call it, it's gonna call the changed code, so that looks correct to me. Using existing functions as building blocks for creating new programs is a key aspect of software reusability. It's also a major benefit of object-oriented programming. What do you guys think? Is that
I think
true? Yeah, that sounds true. C, packaging code as a function allows you to execute it from various locations in your program just by calling the function. And that's what we're talking about now is functions, rather than duplicating possibly lengthy code. That sounds true, right? That's the whole reason to write functions, so you don't have to duplicate code. So it sort of sounds like D is going to be false. Experience has shown that the best way to develop and maintain a large program is to construct it from a small number of large proven pieces. This technique is called divide and conquer. Do you guys see what's wrong here? It should be a large number of smaller pieces. Is that they've reversed it? So anyway, this is the wrong answer here. This is false. D. Okay, we got this. Let me just scroll it up for you guys in the back. Which of the following statements is false? Hello. A key programming goal is to avoid reinventing the wheel. That sounds good. A package groups related modules. We haven't talked about what a package is yet. But every Python source code file you create is a module. They're typically used to organize a large library's functionality. I can tell you we haven't got into packaging modules. We're probably not going to, but I know this is true. A module is a file that groups related functions, data, and classes. That is true, okay. And the Python standard library module money provides arithmetic capabilities for performing monetary calculations.
Is that a real module?
that's false.
Is that? Try, open a terminal and try to import money.
Import money.
Say import space money and see what happens. Anybody? Let me know what you get. Just open up your terminal,
It looks like, it went green.
say import money. So this is how we would import a module.
No, it's
No.
not a thing.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
There's no such module called money. Okay, so this is the false one, right? Actually, what we would do if we were doing money would be the decimal module, right? 2 more questions. Which of the following statements is false? Functions, parameters, and variables are all local. They exist only while the function is executing and can only be used in that function. Is that true or false?
I think true.
Yeah. Variables can be defined in a functions block. You guys remember, so this doesn't work. So you remember a function definition, we say def, my function, whatever it is, function. And we have parameters, and then inside here is what's called the what?
Is that the block?
Yeah, that's the block, exactly right, good. Okay. And any variables in here, like if I say, x equals 5, x is a local variable, right? So variables can be defined in a functions block, that's true. Trying to access a local variable outside its functions block causes a name error, indicating that the variable is not defined.
I mean, if you've called it, right?
Yeah, so if I define my function here, and I said x equal 5, and then I'm over here, and further down the program I want to just print out x, what's it going to do?
That is calling it, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's not
so-
calling my function. Spell that very well.
I mean, but my thing is that it would work if you called it and then said to print it, right? No.
Mm.
Okay.
Because there's
X.
no return statement.
There's no return. Yeah, there's no return. And x, so this is a local variable. It's only local to that function. So if I try to access x outside of the function, which is here, it's going to say x is unknown.
Okay.
It doesn't know it. Okay. So I would say all the above is true in this one. Okay. Everything here is true. And the last question, once a code block terminates, when a function returns, all identifiers defined in that block go out of scope and can no longer be accessed. So this is called scope, actually, too. They would say, what is the scope of the x variable? This will be the scope. Scope of the x variable. The scope is the part of the program where that is visible, where that variable can be seen. That's what scope means, okay? So scope of this little local variable is just right here. Now, if I define a global variable, which they don't really recommend, but say I say y is up here. I say y is 5. The very top, this is the top of the program. This is now a global variable, since it's defined outside of everything. So what is the global variable scope?
The whole program?
The whole program. It can be seen inside here, it can be seen in here. This would be an error, this wouldn't work, but if I said print y, it would print because y is available everywhere, since it's scope. So y scope is the whole program. That means where can y be seen? Anywhere in the program.
Defined in the block, that is true.
Yeah, so once a code block terminates, so once I call this function, so say we call this function down here, and we just say my function. This is how you call it, you just give it the name. I call it, it's gonna jump up here and do some stuff, and it's gonna set x equal to 5, and then once it finishes, x is gone. X is it clears x, it frees the memory of x, so x is not there anymore. So that's what we're saying right here. All identifiers defined in that block, this is an identifier, it's a variable, but it's also called an identifier. They go out of scope and can no longer be accessed. So would you guys say this is true or false? True. Good. We'll get more into functions today. let me, before I dive into our little assignment. Hello. This is what we're gonna try to cover today. It's a lot. I don't think we'll get through all of it. But this is what we're gonna try to cover as far as functions go today and Thursday. And then we'll kind of be done with functions. And then we're gonna get into input validation and some other things. So this is most, and Tony, you asked me like, what are we gonna cover Thursday, because you're gonna be missing. We're gonna cover as much of this as we can on Thursday. I don't think we're gonna get through all this today. Okay, so if you wanna take a picture that way. But you guys should be reading chapter 4. That's what covers functions. It's gonna get into a little bit more than we're gonna worry about in this class, but it's good to read it, and you'll need it for the quiz. Because the quiz has some pretty esoteric questions that you can only answer by reading the online book. Okay. So before I dive into this, let's go to Richard's question, which was, let's look at what's due tonight at midnight, which is the. Let's see if I can find it here. It's a hot dog cookout calculator. All right, so. All right, here we go. Lab 6 pseudocode.py. All right, here we go. Let's open this up. I'll make it bigger for you guys. Let's see, did I type all that stuff up? I didn't. Wait. Yeah, that's right. Okay, good. All right, so let's make this a little bigger. Okay. So what is, you guys can see this, right? All right. What is this thing right here that's surrounded by triple double quotes? What do we call that again?
So even white space, or is there nothing?
It's a comment, really, but there's a special word for it. If it's at the very beginning of a program, does anybody remember?
Oh.
It's called a, where's my good pen? Oh, here it is. This, oh, sorry guys, let me admit everybody. Yeah, make sure you guys sign in. If you see a big comment at the very beginning of the program, it's called a doc string. Okay, it's a comment at the beginning. Or I'll say at the top. Okay, so this is kind of telling you what you got to do, what this program does, and this is written in pseudocode. Okay, so there's our doc string. Now we're getting into pseudocode. Okay, so I think some of you guys remember how to do this. So what's the first thing we got to convert? You can see all these little squiggly red lines mean that there's something wrong. This isn't Python code. So yeah, Wolfgang.
All double slashes to a,
Yep. So this is, I'll say, this is pseudocode, and this is Python. So you have to start converting one thing to another. So we got 2 forward slashes, go to a pound sign, which is our comment. Okay, good. Okay, Richard.
I just got a failure to enter. I just tried again. It said nobody responded to my.
Oh, you couldn't get in? Sorry. Okay, what else? Okay, so that's the first thing to do. What else? Who can tell me what else we got to change? Abigail.
Instead of module main, do def main with a colon after it.
Good. Instead of module main, that gets converted to def space main with a colon. Good. Okay, looking good. Okay, what else? Who else remembers some of these steps? Tony?
For the declare integer total,
Yep.
total, we can make the like total equals 0.
Good.
Declare.
So if it says declare integer total, remember in Python, we don't need to declare anything. You just set it to a value, and that declares it. And usually setting it to 0 is good enough. It's an integer, right? So that's why we're setting it to 0. If it said declare float total, we might set it to 0.0. Right? Okay, good. Okay. So that covers everything on this page, it looks like. Right? So we're gonna replace these with pound signs. Does this look pretty good right here?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is that? Can somebody tell me what this means in English, or how you would say this in English? Whoops. What is that? What is that? What is that telling me? If I say total equals get total hot dogs, what is this thing?
That's a function.
It's a function.
Calculating the amount of people times how many hot dogs they'll want.
Yeah. And
I
does
think-
it return a value?
Yep.
Yeah, it has to return a value, and it's going into this.
Yes.
That's why we're
Assigning
calling
it
it.
to total.
Yeah. When I call this function here, my function, I'm not setting it equal to anything. Or I'm not using a variable equal to that, because this thing doesn't return anything. This little simple dumb function that just says x equal 5, it's not returning anything, so I could just call it like this. But this one returns something. So I have to set a variable equal to the call of that function. Okay, that's called function call. Okay, let's keep rolling. All right. Anybody notice anything here we can change?
Let's declare.
I think we can erase a lot of the constant integer and the declare integer.
Mm-hmm. Good. We can just get rid of constant integer and just say dogs equal 10.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they make the variable.
Yeah.
constant.
So I'm just gonna say, let's do it this way. Constant integer. Dogs equals 10 can be converted to just dogs equals 10. Good? Okay. What about these things over here? These, can I replace these
With
two
the
forward
commas?
slashes with a pound?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an inline
Yeah.
comment, inline comment, yeah, perfect. And we already said, if it says declare integer, so what would this be?
Well, they're not the constant ones, right? So those are 0?
Yeah. It should be
Yeah. So you would just say dogs left equals 0
Yes.
for this, and this. Good. Okay. Anyone see anything else here? I see two more things we can change on this screen.
What's that again?
Is that the set dogs left needs to just be dogs left equals, and the mods in that statement need to be percent signs.
Good. So set dogs left. That's gonna be changed to just dogs left,
Yeah.
like that. And then
All of the capital MODs need to be percent signs instead.
MODs, anytime you say MOD, that gets changed to a %. Good. Okay, looking good. Are you guys following this so far? It's actually just what we used to call in math plug and chug. Have anybody ever heard that? Like you just plug in the variable names and just, so you're just replacing things. Okay, so this looks kind of weird. What the heck is this?
Without looking, is that return?
What the heck is this thing? Math.seal. What does that mean?
Oh, could we have important math on top earlier?
Yes.
Way
Yeah.
above.
Yeah,
top
way
of
above,
it.
right.
Yeah.
So there's a couple ways we can do this.
Yes, there are.
We can say import. This is at the very top, space math. Does it have to be capital?
No, it shouldn't be.
In that case, you'll just need to uncapitalize it where it's being called. Or where it's,
Mm.
so where it says math.seal,
Mm-hmm.
that'll need to be uncapitalized.
Let me make sure you're right.
If you do it through import math, but you can just remove it if you do the from math import star.
Let me try it right down at the bottom here. Okay, so that worked, right? You can see I typed import math down here, and it didn't give me an error, so I do have math. So now I can type math. Now I have it, I can type math.seal, the ceiling of 4.5. And if you guys know what the ceiling is, you go up to the next highest integer, right? So that should return 5, right? Which it did. Okay, so it doesn't have to be capital. So you could do this, and then when you invoke one of the functions that the math module provides, you have to say math.seal. Sealing is one of the functions. But you can also do it like this. You can say from math, which they don't recommend doing this, but I kind of like it in a way. You could say import space star. And then you can just call seal by itself. You don't have to use the math keyword if you do it like that. Okay. And I want to show you guys something while I'm in here. So I've imported the math module. Let me get out of here and I'll just show you what I did again. Clear the screen. So I'm going to start up Python in my terminal. I'm going to say import math. Okay, so now I have math. How do I know which functions that I just imported? Does anyone remember how to do that? If you just type dir, directory, and left and right parens, oh, I think you have to do it this way. Now I type, let's try this. That should show me, there we go, okay. So if I use the from math import star, and then I type dir in my dir, this shows me all the functions. So let's take a peek here. So look what all the math provided. Factorial, floor, where's ceiling at? Right there, ceiling, atangent, arctangent, arccosine, degrees, distance, f-sum, gamma, all these functions. How do I know how to get help on these things? Well, you could just type help. Let's say factorial. Right here in the command. And it tells you. So I'm doing this all in the interactive window. So what is factorial? It finds x factorial, and this is the way you use it. You type in a number. I'm not sure what they mean by this / here. And it says it raises a value error if x is negative or non-integral. So does anyone remember what factorial means? If I said factorial 5, what would that be?
Is it 4 times 3 times?
5 times 4 times 3 times 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So let's try it.
Okay.
So let's just say factorial 5, or 5. Yeah, 120. Okay, so now that we have math imported, we can use these math functions. Okay. So let's get back to our hot dog problem here. All right, so you guys said where it says set, we can get rid of set. We can just say min dogs equal math.ceil total divided by dogs. And that's if we said one of these two up on top. If we said import math, we could either do it that way or this way. Either way works, but the way they're calling it is math.ceil. We would have to use import math and then call math.ceil. Ceil gives you the ceiling. Let me do a help on ceil. Whoops, I need to make this bigger.
For me, that has to be lowercase if you import math.
Okay, returns the ceiling of x as an integral. This is the smallest integer greater than or equal to x. Okay. So it just takes whatever, if it's like 4.1, it takes it to the ceiling, the next highest integer. Okay. It's greater than or equal to x. And there's also a floor, which would take 4.1 and bring it down to 4. Okay. So they've already done all this math for you guys. Set buns left. You can get rid of the set. Change the mod to a %. And let's see, where else are we here? We're almost done, I think. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay. All right. Can anybody help me here? There's a few more things we need to change. Do we need an end module line?
No.
No. So end module can just be deleted. Just delete it. Delete the line.
We also delete call.
Yeah. We're calling the function, we can delete the word call. Yep, good. It says call. Show results.
Oh,
Can just be show results. So show results, you can see that it's not, here we are setting a variable equal to a function call, and the function happens to be ceiling. Here we are calling the function show results, and we're not setting it to anything. There's no variable being set to the result. So do you think show results returns anything or not? If we're not setting a variable like x equals show results.
Oh, no.
to say that it equals that?
Yeah, we're not doing that. So does that tell you anything about the function show results?
Is that no?
It just prints
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It doesn't return anything.
Okay.
Okay?
No, okay.
All right, we're almost done.
So it should say, mine was just a print statement there. If I just changed print for show results, that would be correct?
Nope, just get rid of call. Just remove the word
I got rid
call.
of call and I had it say print instead of show results, so now I should replace what,
No, don't.
put show results back in.
No, just get rid of that, yeah.
I want it to show results.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Mhm. And this is a call to the function with 4 arguments, okay?
How does it work?
All right, we got something else here that's a little new. What about this? Here we're defining a function instead of a module that returns an integer called get total hot dogs. What should that be?
Yeah. Hot dogs.
Yep. Man, I'm running out of space. I'll write it right here, sorry. So if we have function, integer, that's what it's telling you really in pseudocode. It's a function that returns an integer, get total hot dogs. So we're going to replace that with, we're going to get rid of the function and the integer, and we're just going to say def get total hot dogs. And a colon at the end. So that's our function definition. So we get rid of these two, replace it with def, put a colon here. And then we can get rid of, change that to a pound, get rid of declare integer, say people equals 0, right? Hot dogs equals 0. All right, what do we change display to? Actually, this is one that there's two lines that we can convert into one right here. Who can tell me how to do that? Delete this for a second. So there's a couple lines. What we're doing is we're printing something out to the user, and we're asking them to input something. Two things here. So how can we convert these two lines into one line? There we go.
Instead of having a print statement and then an input statement, you can just do an input statement with the text as the input.
Mhm.
You could do input and then in parentheses and quotes, and the number of people attending the cookout, and that would just work.
Mm-hmm.
Or it'd be people equals input parentheses quotes statement.
Yeah.
People equals, so we're looking at this one now,
Yeah.
equals input, and then we put the string there, enter the number of people. I'm just gonna,
Not an int.
Well, yeah, you, I'm getting there.
Okay.
and then that looks good. Anything else we can do?
You should probably convert it to an integer.
Convert it to an integer, right? Because it's gonna be a number. So convert the whole thing to an integer. So now we've converted these two lines into one in Python. Because people, we want the number of people, that's gonna be an integer, not a string. And then we can do the same thing with the next line, right?
Yeah.
We could say hot dogs equals int, input, enter the number of hot dogs for each person. And then we're almost done, let's see. Okay, we've got total. This looks pretty good to me, this is just arithmetic. And return total, that looks pretty good. We don't need an end function, right? We can just, if it says end function, just delete that. Delete it. Delete the line. Okay. And now we've got another module show results. So what should replace, did I talk about that yet? Module, yeah. We have a module and a name, we replace that with def and the name. So this should say def show results. Inside here, these are the parameters. Do we need to tell that this is an integer or not in
No.
Python?
No.
Right. So these are 4 parameters. We can get rid of the integer in front of each one of these. In fact, you have to. So I'm going to say remove parameter types in function definition. So this is a function definition, and we're going to remove the parameter types. So that's, we don't have to say that in Python. That's one of the beauties of it.
Is this the last line of the program?
We're getting there. Okay, so we're gonna replace display with print, right? Did I say that anywhere? So display is just gonna be print. Replace display with print. And whatever it's displaying, put that inside here. Okay, so that's gonna be print, minimum packages, and you can put a comma and min dogs in there like that. There's a couple ways you can do the print. You could do it like this, or you could do a formatted print, which would be print F. Put your string in, your whole string in here, and then min dogs would be in curly braces. Right. So that would say minimum packages of hot dogs needed, whatever packages. This is a formatted print with an F, or you could put a comma and then the variable name, either way. Okay, we're almost done, so you know how to do this, 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 and this. And then in module, that's it. We get rid of in module. That's the whole program.
Oh, well, do we need to do call me at the end?
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did we forget? We gotta call main.
The main.
Because we've defined main over here, so everything is happening inside main, so now we have to call main. Right.
Did each block say in module at the, yes it did, so you can't just replace in module with main. Okay, sorry.
So I'm gonna just say, at the very end, just say call main. So, right at the very bottom here, just put in main, left and right print. That calls the main function. That should do it. And that's due tonight. Did that help, everybody? Good. Has anybody other than Tony already done this, and probably Abigail? You already did it?
Yeah, I just want
Okay, all right. If you type 10 people and 2 hot dogs, you should get 0 hot dogs left and 4 buns. If you've done it right. Did it work?
So, hot dogs left over?
Yeah, 0, and number of buns left over should be 4. If you put in 10, there's 10 people coming to your party, and each one's gonna eat 2 hot dogs. It was funny, I was at a track meet Saturday, and we were, our school was running the snack bar, and at the end of the track meet, we were trying to sell the rest of the hot dogs, so they said, make an announcement, and they said, okay, so I'm like, okay, all hot dogs are now $1 each instead of whatever they were selling. And everybody made a rush for the snack bar. You know, they were just trying to get rid of everything.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's like when I brought spaghetti to Occupy. Spaghetti for everybody. No more spaghetti.
Yeah. People love free food, don't they? All right, cool. So, let me admit, Rashid. All right, good. So everybody should feel pretty good about that. Let's look at what I want to cover today. Okay, we got a little time. All right. So, okay, let's dive into here. I think we've covered a couple things already. So functions, you start them with def, a space, and then the function name, and then the indented block, which I had over here already. Can I erase this stuff? All right, you got it. And I have a little exercise for you guys later. It might not, I don't know if we'll have time for a group, we'll see. So if I was gonna say def, we'll say calc area circle. Okay, does anybody know what the area of a circle is, the formula?
It's pi r squared.
Pi r squared, yeah, good. Okay. So area of a circle equals pi times r squared. And r is what?
The radius.
Radius, good.
Which is half of the diameter.
Half of the diameter, right? Yeah, so if you got a circle, and that point from there, from the center, would be the radius. The whole thing would be the diameter, right? That whole thing would be the diameter. Okay, so we want to figure out what the area, the whole area of this is, and that's the formula. So what do you think we would want to pass into this? What parameter should we have if we're going to calculate the area of a circle?
Pi.
We could pass in pi. Yeah. We could pass in pi. What else? What else do we need?
And then the
Just
radius.
radius.
Radius, yeah. Okay. So there's my little function definition, and then I'm going to indent. This could be real simple. I could just say return pi times r times r, right?
Well, they need to be
Or to
defined
go like
still,
that.
right, through an input.
Or would I go like this? Would I have to do this or not?
It goes in order, so
Does it even matter? Or do I have to do r?
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You're multiplying.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. This is r squared, but r squared is just r times r. And all multiplication is all the same. It doesn't really matter. So I don't have to put parens in here. So that's a very simple function, right? That's it right there. So how would I call this and calculate, say I want to calculate this, the area of a circle with a radius of 10. So get area of circle, radius 10. Okay? How would I print that out?
Get rad equals.
Somebody other than you two guys.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. People, you guys have answered a lot. Nick, how about you? If I wanted to just print the area of a circle with a radius of 10, I want to print it out, right? So what goes inside here?
Calculate the circle, and then just
And what arguments do I pass it?
you're passing in pi, and then the radius is just 10.
Yeah, that's it. Right? So I print the call to the function. This replaces pi, and this is r. There. So I don't know what that's going to be. Well, it's probably 100. It's probably like 314. I think.
I times 10 is.
And 10 times 10 is 100, right? So 100 times 3.14 should be 314. All right. So just to review functions, okay? So this is a function that returns a value. We probably want to have a little description up there above it. You know, calc the area of a circle. And in this case, I probably would make pi a global variable. And I'd probably put it in caps. I'd put it up at the top, and then I would just pass in the global variable pi right here. It's probably like a cleaner way to do it. Okay. Okay, so we've talked about functions. Indented block. This is the block right here. That's the block. Okay. We looked at typing help and a function in the terminal window, right? And we talked about using the dir command inside the terminal window to see all the functions provided by the random module. So let's look at the random module for a second. Okay, so let me close this pseudocode thing out. Alright, so let's clear this, and I'm gonna start up Python in my terminal, and I'll say from random, first if I do dir right here, I don't have many functions in here, just the built-in stuff like minimum and maximum and stuff like that, min and max and len. But if I say from random import star, now I do a dir, and I see a whole bunch of random number type things. Okay, so we got random, we got rand int, we got rand range, we have seed, which are some of the main ones we're going to use. So let's do a help on random. What does that tell us? So if I just type random, it gives me x in the interval between 0 and up to. If you see a square there, it means it includes 0. And it means it goes up to but not including 1. You guys remember that from math? So if I just type random, it should give me some kind of a little number that's between 0 and 1. Let's try it. Yeah, so it gives me a random floating point number. Every time I run it, it's giving me something different. So it's random. So that's pretty cool. How about help rand int? Oh, so this returns a random integer between a and b. So if I say rand int between 1 and 7, this includes both endpoints. So that gives me 7. If I run it again, 5, 1. Okay, that's cool. How about help rand range? Okay, start, stop, step. Fixes the problem of rand int, which includes the endpoint. So this doesn't give you the endpoint. So if I say rand range between 1 and 7, this should give me between 1 and 6. So every time I run it, it's giving me a number between 1 and 6. Okay. So what does 1 and 6 signify to you guys if I was trying to mimic some sort of a game?
Like a dice.
Like a dice game, exactly right.
I was wondering how many are in Yahtzee.
Exactly. So there's going to be a problem or assignment later on that talks about mimicking a dice game. Okay, so you're going to use random for that. You're going to import the random module. Okay. There's one other thing I wanted to tell you. There's a function called seed. Okay. So how do you think random works? How does it give you a different number every time? Does anybody know?
Probably references something extremely arbitrary like the time.
Yeah, it references the time because the time changes every second. Right?
Sick.
But you could give it a seed, and then it will give you the same number every time if you seed it with a number. Okay. So let's try to seed it.
This morning.
Say we say seed 35, whatever. And then I say rand int okay, so it's at 5, 3, and then 5. If I say seed 34 again, 5, 3, 5. So that's a way to replicate. If you always give it the seed and then start doing some things, it's going to repeat what you gave it. If you want to if you want to redo your results.
The same
and
random
and
again.
always have it the same numbers, okay? So that's how you can provide it a seed. And every time you run it, as long as you provide it that seed, you're gonna get the same 5, 3, and 5, 5, 3, and 5, okay?
And
Which is kinda cool. We'll go for about 10 minutes, I'm gonna give you guys a break. Okay, so we got random. I don't know if you or if I ever covered this or not, but if I wanna type a real big number and I wanna make it readable, I can put underscores in here instead of just leaving it 6 million. I could put underscores and it understands that to be 6 million, okay? So, but if I typed in rand or range, or just range, for example, you know, if I type range 10, right, it goes from 0 to 9. If I typed range 6 million with these commas, it would think I'm passing it 3 different arguments because of the commas. So you would have to pass range if you wanted 6 million. You could type just 6 million, or you could make it a little more readable by typing in these underscores. I'll show you how it works. We'll see how fast it is here. Okay, so let's just say for I in range, and we'll make it 6 million. We want to print I. So this is going to print 6 million times real fast. Let's see. Maybe not that fast. No, I don't want to wait for this. We're barely up to
maybe we
100,000.
go to break and see if it's done when we're back.
That sounds good.
I'm kidding.
Anyway, that just demonstrated how you could use the underscores. I just hit Control-C to get out of that. Here's something that I don't know if we've covered either that I wanted to cover. A conditional expression. Okay. So what the heck does this mean? Print A if x is less than 5, else B. Okay. So let's try that. Oh, let's try it on this board here. It's kind of a neat little shortcut of having a whole bunch of if then else statements. You could put it all in one. So say I want, if I say x equals 5, and then I want to print something out, and I want to print A, and then right inside here I can put an if statement. If x is, I could say, how about equal to 5, else I want to print B. I could just do it like that. So this is a conditional saying print A if x is equal to 5, else print B. So that's saying something like, I could do it like this. I could say if x equals 5, print A, else print B. This is the same thing, but all in one line. It's pretty nice, right? So let's give it a shot and see if that actually works. Do I have x? No. X equals 5. Print A if x equals 5, else I'm gonna print B. Okay, so it worked. Printed A out. Let's change A to 6, or x to 6. Now what's it going to print? Is x equal to 5?
No.
No. So it's should print B this time. Yeah. So that's just called a conditional print statement. That's right here. Conditional expression. Let's see what else we can cover here before I let you guys out for 10 minutes. We talked about tuples a little bit. Let's see if I can delete this here. We talked about tuples. You're just going to have to know this for your quiz. We're not going to use tuples a ton, but a tuple is a series of values separated by commas and surrounded by parentheses. So I could say my tuple equals, I've got parentheses here, and I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So that's what they call a tuple, okay? A tuple is immutable. Well, what the heck does that mean? Does anybody remember what that means? Immutable. Yeah, you remember?
Unable to be changed?
Unable to be changed. So I can't change this tuple. I can't go in here and change the 2 to a 3. So it is as it is. It's just like that. Okay. So setting this up is called packing a tuple. So just defining it like I am is called packing, and unpacking a tuple is pretty easy. Say I want to set each of these values to a variable. I could say x, y, z, q equals my tuple. Like that. And that's going to set, this will set x equal 1, y equal 2, z equal 3, and q equal 4. This is called unpacking. So you're getting the stuff back out. You're unpacking a suitcase. I know we're covering a lot of
This example we want to
We're covering a lot of seemingly unrelated topics here, but these are all in chapter 4, and I just wanted you guys to see them. Let me see what your in-class activity is real fast here. Okay. I'm going to let you guys take a break. And then this is what you're in class. I want you to do this at your desks when you come back. Let's see if I can clean this up a little bit. Okay, I want you to write a Python script. You can call it heads, tails. Tails.py.
I think I have this saved somewhere.
Good. So I want you to use a for statement and the rand range, okay? So rand range is part of the random module, so you're gonna have to import random. And a conditional expression that we just looked at, like, where did I put it? Like this. So this is a conditional expression. This is the expression. This is either true or false, right? And I want you to simulate 20 coin flips displaying H for heads and T for tails, all on the same line, each separated by a space. So you guys remember how to do that, right? With a print statement separated by a space? What is the key word you put in there? Anybody remember?
So like end thing?
End equals,
String with a space in it.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do something for 20 times. That should tell you how to start right there. Right, you're gonna have a for loop that's gonna do something 20 times, right? And then you're gonna have a rand range. And then you're gonna, and then you're only gonna have two options, right? Tails or heads. So what do you think your range is gonna be?
2. There's 1.
Yeah. You can look at 0 or 1 or 1 or 2. And that's gonna spit out a random number between 1 and 2. 1 or 2 every time. So think about the 1 is heads, 2 is tails, or vice versa. Right? Okay, so go ahead, take a break. Come back at 2, and then you can do this at your desk, and then you can raise your hand when you're done. I'll come and check it out and see if you guys understand. Yeah, yeah.